Hello and welcome to a New Look Scout Report, where today we're going to present 5 ideas on how Unai Emery can fix Arsenal's horrible, incompetent, embarrassing, stupid, dull, idiotic defence. I'm angry about this, let's start. Number 5, fix the press. Surprisingly enough, Arsenal pressed extremely high under Arsene Wenger last season. On average, the Gunners attempted a tackle, made an interception, or committed a foul for every 8.5 passes their opponents made in 2017-18. That's actually the 3rd most aggressive press in the Prem, behind Man City and Tottenham, with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool actually easing off in the second half of the season after the arrival of Virgil van Dijk. But unlike those 3 rivals, Arsenal's press didn't stop them conceding a ton of shots. Only Stoke faced more shots from counter-attacks than Arsenal did, and their 11.1 shots allowed per game was almost double Man City's 6.2. In fact, while Wenger's team pressed more than the league average in their opponent's half, they applied less pressure than average in their own half, a recipe for a woeful defensive record. This meant that Arsenal's defenders were constantly having to make plays in dangerous positions to prevent an opponent getting through. Shkodran Mustafi attempted 3.6 tackles a game in the Premier League, while Van Dijk only had to try 1 per match, which indicates that Van Dijk was receiving good protection from the players in front of him, while Mustafi was left high and dry. And it's actually smart to make players work hard further upfield. While Roberto Firmino and Granit Xhaka both committed 57 fouls in the Prem last year, Xhaka was carded 10 times while Firmino was booked only once. If Arsenal can harness Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, who both played under Klopp and Tuchel at Dortmund, into a coherent high-pressing unit without leaving their defence on an island, they should see an improvement in the goals against column. Number 4. Swap Leno for Cech. We had our reservations when Arsenal spent around €22 million on Bayer Leverkusen's Bernd Leno during the off-season, but 3 games into the Premier League campaign, it's time for the German to get on the team sheet. So far, expected goals suggest that the Gunners should have conceded 5 based on the quality of chance they've allowed, but Cech has actually let in 6, including very savable long-range efforts from Sterling and Marko Arnautovic. More importantly, Cech's distribution from the back has put Arsenal under pressure again and again. For every long ball he's completed so far this season, he's misplaced 2 more, and while the Czech has failed to connect with just 1 of his 64 short passes, Leno only failed to complete 4 short passes in the whole of the 2017-18 campaign. During Arsenal's first game against Man City, Cech attempted more passes than any other Arsenal player, but his weak distribution meant that the Gunners spent 30% of the game in their own third, compared to 24% for Man City. That may sound like a small difference, but 24% would have been the 3rd best figure in the Prem last season, while 30% would have put Arsenal among the 6 worst sides in the league for territory. Regardless of Leno's deficiencies as a shot stopper, and at this point he has to be better than Cech, the former Leverkusen man has played more passes and longer passes than his rival over the last 12 months, while maintaining a similar completion rate. And with Cech 36 and unlikely to turn into Manuel Neuer overnight, Emery has to accept that he needs Leno's feet to make his possession style work, even if his hands may pose a separate problem. Number 3. Lower the line. After 3 games of the 2018-19 campaign, it's clear that Emery's Arsenal are committed to playing a high line. They've caught opponents offside more than any other Prem team so far this season, with their total of 4.3 a game, a huge increase from 2.3 per match last year. That sounds good, but when the linesman hasn't flagged, the team have been in serious trouble. They've allowed a massive 15 through balls in 270 minutes. That's a rate which would see them allow 190 over a whole season. To put that in context, even Wenger's kamikaze back line only gave up 76 through balls in his final year in charge. Now, these numbers are skewed a little by having played Chelsea away and Man City, but currently the only team conceding more shots per game than Arsenal's shocking 18 are Huddersfield. That's not a recipe for a return to the top 4 anytime soon. Now, we're not going all match of the day and claiming that a high line can never work, but in this sort of system, reading of the game is actually more important than speed, and it's pretty apparent that Arsenal's centre-backs lack the match intelligence necessary. Back in 2014-15, when the comically slow Per Mertesacker started alongside Laurent Koscielny, Arsenal also pushed the backline up the field, but still conceded just 36 goals in 38 Prem matches, then the 3rd best record in the division. This year, the Gunners have conceded 6 in 3 games, with Socrates picking up 2 yellow cards and Mustafi committing more fouls than anyone in the squad, bar Granit Xhaka. Either Emery needs to change his centre-backs or give them less ground to cover, and with Rob Holding and Kostas Mavropanos 22 and 20 respectively, the second option might be more appealing. Number 2. Play Torreira. An impressive start for Matteo Guendouzi has seen some Arsenal fans demand that the 19-year-old become a permanent fixture in Emery's midfield. But for us, the youngster currently poses more problems than he solves. The Frenchman has looked assured on the ball, playing more passes per 90 minutes than anyone in the squad except Xhaka, and he's also won the ball back 20 times in league play. However, as promising as he looks, Guendouzi has often drifted out of position and caused problems for his teammates with aggressive movement and distribution. Through 270 minutes, he's taken 7 sloppy touches and been dispossessed twice. That's a real hazard at the base of midfield. Now, this all sounds quite a lot like another member of the Arsenal midfield, but sadly, Granit Xhaka is vital to the club's attack. Last season, only Fernandinho and Mesut Ozil got the ball into the final third more than Xhaka in the whole of the Prem. And when the Swiss was removed at half-time of Game 2 against Chelsea, Arsenal struggled to move the ball forward, with Guendouzi and Torreira combined only getting the ball into the final third once every 10 minutes, compared to every 4 minutes for Xhaka. This all means that Guendouzi should probably make way, at least for the time being, and Torreira should solidify the centre of the park. An experienced DM, the Uruguayan completed more tackles in Serie A than anyone else over the past 2 seasons, and overall won possession around 4 times a game, regaining the ball around once every 17.5 minutes. Used to playing as a number 6, Torreira is accustomed to an aggressive press, and at 5'6", his low centre of gravity makes him hard to knock off the ball, as he lost possession under once a game for a side which finished 10th in Serie A last year. To summarise, maybe try playing the elite defensive midfielder you bought this summer, Unai. Just a thought. Number 1. Give up. Okay, so this one isn't really a solution, but hear us out. Years of neglect and poor signings in defence have turned the Arsenal squad into a top-heavy monster. In Ozil and Aubameyang, the Gunners have 2 world-class attackers, and there's excellent support from Lacazette, Mkhitaryan and Aaron Ramsey. So rather than trying to shackle these stars in a more defensive system which might never work, why not give them free rein and simply try to outscore teams? We're not being ridiculous here. Against Chelsea, Arsenal put in an excellent first half performance with the team pushing up the field. And at the interval, they had created chances worth 2.1 expected goals to Chelsea's 1. In the second period, Emery swapped Torreira in for Xhaka, ordered the team to sit, and the Blues dominated, racking up 1.1 expected goals to Arsenal's 0.1 and bagging the winner. Arsenal simply don't have the defensive talent to cover large areas of ground, but they also aren't good enough to park the bus effectively. So it might be better to act like 2013-14 Liverpool and try to win via slugfest. Despite the mess of last season and adjusting to a new club, Aubameyang and Lacazette ranked 3rd and 10th in the Prem for expected goals per 90 minutes, with the Gabonese above Harry Kane and the Frenchman above Romelu Lukaku. Meanwhile, Ozil and Mkhitaryan were 3rd and 4th for expected assists per 90, behind only Kevin De Bruyne and the now departed Felipe Coutinho. Of course, it's a high-risk approach, but with the players at their disposal, Arsenal are unlikely to drop any lower than the 6th place they managed last term, and a strong performance from any of their starting forwards could give them an outside shot at the top 4. Who knows, even Arsenal's terrible fans might enjoy watching their team once again. So those are our 5 ideas for fixing Arsenal's defence, but if you have a better one, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, stay right here on Eurofootball Daily and check out Friday's Continental Club or Hot Takes from Saturday. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.